Alright, listen up, man. You got this pretty lady out there. She's killing it. She's slaying the scene. You think you're gonna hit on the Ice Queen? Well, hey there, let me buy you a drink. Nope, you're tapped down, buddy. Just go make an elemental, okay? Hi, how you doing? You're stunning. I love your icy crown. Hard pass. Tap yourself, you loser. Listen, I just wanted to tell you that I like your eye makeup. It's really on point tonight. Have a great night, okay? Wait a minute, where's he going? Let's take a look at Elsa. Hylda of the Icy Crown. But first, I need that engagement, brother. Like, subscribe, leave a little sweet comment right in my ear for the algorithm. Alright, man, we got Hylda of the Icy Crown. 2 white and a blue for a legendary creature, human warlock. It's a 3/4. Whenever you tap an untapped creature an opponent controls, you may pay 1. When you do, choose 1. Create a 4/4 white and blue elemental creature token. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control, or scry 2, then draw a card. When I first saw this card, I was kind of incredulous and dismissive of it. We always forego tapping things in favor of just destroying them or exiling things in Commander, but this particular card weaponizes tapping things, and that's pretty bonkers, dude. A 4/4 is fantastic for 1 extra mana, as is scrying 2 and drawing a card. This is an unfettered design that harkens back to the old days. It doesn't say 1 or more, it doesn't say once per turn. Take this card, Choking Tethers, for example. 3 and a blue for an instant. Tap up to 4 target creatures, has cycling for 1 and a blue. When you cycle it, you may tap target creature. If you tap 4 creatures, you get 4 potential triggers if you have 4 open mana and 4 creatures controlled by opponents that are untapped that you can tap down. There are myriad little effects like this, little 2 and 3 mana instants that let you tap down opponents' creatures. This leads to a very reactive playstyle. You can play this deck out at instant speed, include some flash things and some instants, some control elements, and put a lot of power on the board on your opponent's turns. And listen, man, I put a bunch of those in my deck list, but those are great, but repeatable ways to tap down opponent's creatures is better. You have Court Street Denizen, 2 and a white for a creature, human soldier. It's a 2/2. Whenever another white creature enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature and opponent controls. Listen, man, you tap something down, you pay 1 to create a 4/4 white and blue elemental creature token. Well, that triggers this guy because the token is white. Tap something else down, pay 1, repeat the cycle. As long as you don't run out of mana, you're putting a ton of power on the board. And the best thing about a lot of these effects is how cheap these cards are. Tapping things down is not a particularly sought after effect, so the key cards are cheap as heck, dude, like the Junk Winder. 5 blue for a creature, a serpent. It's a 5/6 with affinity for tokens. Whenever a token enters the battlefield under your control, tap target non-land permanent on opponent controls. It doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Very similar to Court Street Denizen, this guy is just a big old serpent hanging out with some squirrels in the night. Then you got Tolarian Kraken out there, dude. This guy's just trying to go to the Tolarian Academy, but Joe Biden wants to make him pay back his student loans. 4 blue for a creature, Kraken. It's a 4/6. Whenever you draw a card, you may pay 1. When you do, you may tap or untap target creature. I've used this guy in Alando the Seer decks, and it goes great here as well for its tap side. Then out of Lord of the Rings, you got this hot little tamale. You got the Losar Narc Captain, or however the heck you say this, dude. It's just a made up word, don't get at me. 3 and a white for a creature, human soldier. It's a 3/1 with first strike. Whenever this guy or another human enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature and opponent controls. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. Our commander is a human, as well as 9 other creatures incidentally in the sample $44 deck I put on Moxfield. This is tapping something down each turn, and it's making tokens. Alright, listen buddy, you can't have an Icy Queen deck unless you stick the crown in there. It's spiky as heck. You could turn this into a decent headbutt, man. You want to impale somebody, give them a lobotomy. Hylda's Crown of Winners, 3 generic mana for a legendary artifact, 1 and tap target creature. This ability costs 1 less to activate during your turn, has 3 in sacrifice, and draw a card for each tap creature your opponents control. With each day she wore the crown, her icy kingdom spread, and her heart grew ever colder. Late game, this can just fill your hand, and it's tapping stuff down all the time. Then you have cards like Hidden Strings, dude. Look how close this guy's standing to his buddy there. It's a little suspect if you ask me. 1 and a blue for a sorcery, you may tap or untap target permanent, then you may tap or untap another target permanent. Has Cipher. I love this thing, man. It's so efficient. And just cipher this onto one of our flyers, like the next guy. The Guardian of Tazim, dude. 3 blue for a creature, Sphinx. It's a 4/5 with flying, has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, tap target creature and opponent controls. If if that land is an island, that creature doesn't untap during its controller's next untap step. That's free real estate, brother. Alright, everybody calm down. Gadwick the Wizen's here too. It's Hylda's cousin, man. He's from Eldraine as well. X blue 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 for a legendary creature, human wizard. It's a 3/3. When this guy enters the battlefield, draw X cards. Whenever you cast a blue spell, tap target non-land permanent an opponent controls. I'm a big fan of this guy. I have him in Zaxara. He lets you refill your hand late game or come down early for some tapping shenanigans. And this is the perfect deck for an old favorite of mine, the Sunblast Angel. 4 white for a creature angel. It's a 4/5 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, destroy all tapped creatures. There may exist powers even greater than Phyrexia. No chance, dude. That's a sweet angel, my friends, but it also has this sweet version, the Beautiful Man version by Elena Danner, and that's only $1.20 if you want that. Speaking of beautiful men, look at this guy, the Illithid Harvester, man. Looks a little like Danny DeVito. 4 and a blue for a creature horror. It has Seramorphosis. When it enters the battlefield, turn any number of target tapped non-token creatures face down. They're 2/2 horror creatures. It's a 4/4, but it has this little adventure. Plant tadpoles. X blue blue for a sorcery, tap X target creatures. They don't untap during their controller's next untap steps. This thing is 2 turns worth of plays on 1 card, dude. Tap everything down and then make them into little horrors, brother. He's gonna put a squid right in your guts, and that's not a very chill move, guy. And finally, you have the Piece de Resistance here, the Willbreaker. 3 blue blue for a creature, human wizard. It's a 2/3. Whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes the target of a spell or ability you control, gain control of that creature for as long as you control the Willbreaker. Master your mind or I shall master it for you, loser. This little minx is just playing with your brains, brother. That's not nice. You're going to target your opponent's creatures with the tap effects, and this card is only a couple bucks too. And listen, man, while we're in Azorius colors, consider the old Scheming Fence. This card is better than it looks, and it can really behoove you to slow your opponents down. These little hate bears and things like this can really power up a deck. Scheming Fence is white and a blue for a creature, human citizen. It's a 2/3. As it enters the battlefield, you may choose a non-land permanent. Activated abilities of the chosen permanent can't be activated. Scheming Fence has all activated abilities of the chosen permanent except for loyalty abilities. You may spend mana as though or mana of any color to activate those abilities. Just name Soul Ring, brother, alright? Then this guy is just a mana dork. He's just a Soul Ring. And it punishes those greedy mana crit players too, man. Forget about those guys. And if you really want to get everybody all salted up out there, dude, get the Grand Arbiter Augustin out there. 2 white and a blue for a legendary creature, human advisor. White spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Blue spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Spells your opponents cast cost 1 more to cast. This guy's just a real little hate bear, dude. It's a 2/3. The Arbiter is just a pain in the butt, man. He's going to be out there dispensing justice on everybody. And if you have little cards like this, you can stick in there and make your opponents really have to slow down. And that's key in a deck where the Ice Queen is your commander. So what do you guys think, man? You got a pretty powerful commander that can be built on a very strict budget. I've got one up there for 44 bucks, but you could get cheaper. Anyways, man, check out the deck list. Goldfish it. It's pretty powerful for a deck based around tapping things down. And I want to tell you, man, if you watch Frozen with Elsa and Anna, it's kind of a parable about how a woman can be strong without a charming prince. The charming prince is actually the villain in that movie, man. No spoilers, but check it out, man. I don't know, it's Americana. You get to roleplay Elsa from Frozen, which is what this deck's all about, and every young boy's dream. Sneaky G from Better Commander signing off.